Hello, world. A wonderful day to all of you. Welcome to the Institute of Global Professionals. Thank you for joining us for another live session of free international webinar here in IGP. My lovely audience, I am Maribeth from the Philippines and I am honored to be your host for the day. I'm so glad to be with you once again in this virtual world. If there is a thing that we should be thankful about during the pandemic period, I think it is the opportunity that it provides for all of us to be as one through the virtually through this international pre-webinar brought to us by the Institute of Global Professionals or IGP. I hope that everyone will stay with us until the end of the program because we have a lot of things in store for you today. Here in IDP webinars, you do not just listen to our speakers, but we encourage your participation to our quiz competition and the Q&A part of our program. In our quiz competition, the top 10 participants will receive their quiz completion certificate that is right after the event. But for today, I think we are not going to have our quiz competition, so we will proceed right away to our Q&A part after the presentation of our resource speaker. Then the Q&A part, everyone will have the opportunity to interact with our speakers by sending in your questions in the comments section below. In the latter part of the program, we will give you the certification code and the certification process on how you can generate your e-certificate. However, as everyone is aware of, at this moment, the IGP website is under maintenance. This is due to the bulk number of participants who are accessing the website at the same time. We are encountering host error frequently. But we would like to assure that everyone that the IGP team is working together to resolve this issue the soonest possible time. Everything will be back as it used to be very, very soon. Please bear with us at the moment. And I have also good news for everyone that in a few days, the IGP website will be back. That is very, very soon. Hopefully before the end of the Yuletide season. Once it is back, we can start collecting our e-certificate again. Isn't it that's good to hear? Thank you for your patience and for your understanding. With this, everybody is still encouraged to stay with us till the end of the program because we have lots of exciting things awaits us today. I am sure all of us will have many e-takeaways and payoffs from this webinar, only from IGP. I am proud to tell you that every day many new participants are joining with us still. So let me give you a little background about IGP. The Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institution which provides social work. We believe that it is not effective to increase one's skills by just acquiring formal education. So we provide training and consultation to generate a proficient generation through webinars, trainings, offline and online courses with best speakers and highly trained coaches from around the world. This is to cater you with the best learning platform. I'm proud to inform you that IGP is an ISO certified grading education institute. We are internationally recognized and globally accredited. IGP is your trusted platform to learn new things from the global leading leaders. We are the leading online skill development institution with thousands of learners worldwide. Our mission is to empower people and enhance their skills through webinar, and we are committed to serve. We wish that you remain with us in this endeavor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the Institute of Global Professionals free international webinar. Once again, I am Marbeth, a core volunteer of IGP from the Philippines. I am so privileged to host today's webinar. With this, I would like to say let's watch together and learn together. We believe that the power is gained by sharing knowledge and not by hoarding it. Did you know that as of yesterday, we have already successfully completed 290 webinars in various topics of your interest? We expect that all of you are getting a little bit benefited both in your personal and professional life through these webinars. From time to time, you may like, share, tag your friends, and write comments. Share us how you feel about IGP and what you think about IGP. Don't hesitate to ask questions or write feedback. You may also give suggestions that will help us innovate the program in the comments section below. All of these will be greatly appreciated. Please support us by liking and subscribing to IGP Facebook page, Facebook group, and YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the bell button to be notified with our live streaming every day. Before proceeding to our program for today, first allow me to greet some of our active participants from the FB Live and the YouTube channel live streaming. Hello and warm greetings to the following: Abigail Juneda, Jude Adrian, Marisa Guambong, Romeo Dumali Larona. Okay, hello, how are you? Rocky Agaton, Lilibet, Grace Orsal, Kamis Atia, Hegasi, these are new names. Nicodan S. Miro, Corazon Quintana, Joy Grace Castro Domingo, J.S. Coblao, hello ma'am, Janica Genera Lau, and Romeo Dumali Larona. Hello everyone, those who are watching in our Facebook Live, hello to all of you. Let me still scroll with the other names. Hannah Ursula, Rugaya Shafrinalita, I hope I pronounced it right. Farila Rezahi. Hello. And also to Ida Ramirez, Eleanor Palomo. Good evening to all of you. Good day to all of you. Romel Hernandez, JP Pilbert, JM, then let me see. I think I'm missing some names here. Glenda Serio, hello ma'am. Ginalyn Villar Resurrection, JP Pilbert again. Okay, hi. Romel Hernandez, and now let me greet some of our friends in the YouTube channel. Alex Javier Alvarez. Okay, Desiree Biari. Jeffrey Doctolero. Okay, Leonila Sumikat. Hello. Vim Villanueva. Des. Dr. Rahes Sudhakar. Jeffrey Doctolero. Alex Javier Alvarez. Niconden S. Miro. Herbert Legaspi. And we still have lots of comments in our YouTube channel. Dulce Corazon, Teacher Carl. Hello to all of you. Greetings to all of you. Happy watching, everyone. So, without further ado, let's start the program with the IGP mantra. You know that, right? Feed your skills. Innovate, inspire, impact. For today, I will be presenting webinar number 257. This was scheduled originally last November 16, but then it has been rescheduled today for some reasons. And the topic for today is about integration of gender and development in teaching. For today, we have a brilliant speaker from the Philippines. Please, our brilliant speaker from the Philippines is a Guru Nation awardee. That is this year only. She is a master teacher in Rizal National High School, and she is also a guide coordinator, a chairperson of the English department. She is also an author of campus journalism book, A New Era. Without further much ado, let's welcome with a virtual round of applause, Dr. Arlene Becones Paraleja. Let's welcome her on screen.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
This is my second time being with you with IG, and thank you so much. And today we'll be exploring or learning about how are we going to integrate gender and development or gender sensitivity in teaching.
That is actually a very interesting topic, ma'am.
Shall
Because
I?
everybody, yes, ma'am, go
Yes,
on.
ma'am. And it's one of the most challenging roles of teachers in teaching or in education. How are we going to integrate gender sensitivity in classroom?
Yes.
So shall I proceed now? I could
Yes, ma'am, please share
share
your
my
screen.
screen. So I hope it's already visible, ma'am.
Yes, it's visible, ma'am. Well, take it away,
Ayan.
Dr. Arlene. Pareha, parehas. The floor
Okay.
is yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And it's really an honor to be joining you for the second time. So, guys, let's explore together the things that we should consider in integrating gender and development in teaching. So, for our objectives today, we have one, get to know the gender responsive basic education policy, and number two, discover how to teach in a gender sensitive manner and how to eliminate gender equity bias. And number four, we're going to take a glance at how we can encourage gender equality in the classroom. And for number four, we have to determine the factors that cause gender equality in the classroom. So, before that, let's ask ourselves, what is God? Of course, it's all about gender and development. It's um, an approach that acknowledges women and men's equal or unequal status and situations in society. So, um, allow me to share with you uh, the video that my students were able to come up with during the gender advocacy competition or gender advocacy discussion in our classroom. But before that, um, I may share with you that we are already aware that gender and development is about social, cultural, also economic and political norms. And it's also a process and structures institutionalize and it perpetuates gender differences in development needs and interest. So, why is it necessary to include God in classroom? Let me share with you this.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me? Ma'am Arlene, I think you're muted.
I'm sorry. All right. So thank you so much. That was the output of my students when we had our campaign project about gender and advocacy. And that was their chosen topic about integrating gender and development in teaching. So moving on, God is like, it's not just an approach, but it also focus on the socially constructed differences between men and women, the need to challenge existing gender roles and relations, and the creation and effects of class differences on development. So, God sees to it or ensures that both men and women have an equal opportunity to participate in and benefit from the development or from development. So, I would like to share with you the gender and development vocabularies. So, first among these vocabularies is bias. And when we say bias, it's a tendency to believe that some people, ideas, etc., are better than others, that usually results in treating some people unfairly. The code work to increase empathy and empathic communication. It means understanding another person's point of view and emotions is really important in all human social interactions, including teaching. So, bias, however, teachers frequently have, I may say, not so little, but some have little understanding of the communities in which their students live and have difficulty understanding their perspective. So we have to lead our students to treat other persons, or we have to treat our students fairly. And how are we going to do that? So that is the first vocabulary. For the second vocabulary, we have discipline. So discipline means control that is gained by requiring the rule or orders to be obeyed and punishing bad behavior. So, an example of that is assertive discipline, where teachers have the authority to ask and require specific actions from their learners or from their students. And another is behavior modification, where teachers deal with reward and punishment. So, this discipline has still has students' best interest in mind. If you could recall the study of Cantor and Cantor in their historical study that was in 1992, if my memory serves me right, they found that teachers who use this discipline are actually calm when it comes to the rules and limits. This discipline makes teachers assert clear rules, or I may say clearer rules. It gives students the clear idea that misbehavior has consequences, and if students want positive consequences, they know how to achieve them. And this behavior modification uh, centers around four types of punishment or reinforcement. It's normal in the classroom that teachers sometimes use behavior modification or reinforcement. In positive reinforcement, we are giving them extra credits. Of course, when they were able to answer the questions with much thought or much idea, we could give them positive reinforcement. Or when we say positive punishment, We will be asking them to talk with their class advisor. It's normally what teachers do. It's a positive punishment. We have to discuss what happened between the student and the class advisor. But opposite to that, the negative reinforcement is we will remove them, or we will remove an activity that the student does not enjoy. Removing the activity that they really don't enjoy, it's like a negative reinforcement to us. But we need to focus on how students will be learning and will be enjoying from the activities that we will provide. And the negative punishment there is we will give them decrease of time. Instead, they will be accomplishing that from 1 hour. We will just allow them to accomplish that from 40 minutes or 30 minutes as a negative punishment. So that is discipline. Discipline, when we say discipline in God, it's not really harsh. We will still be including their how sensitive our students are. Okay, so for number three, which is equality or equality, it means state of being neutral. Are we neutral? Are we neutral enough with our learners? So it's like harnessing the potential of education among every person with the same opportunity. So when we say equality, this refers to state of equality in which everyone is treated equally, fairly, and just. So equality implies that everyone should have equal opportunity and that no one should be treated unfairly. It's equality is really vital because it ensures that everyone has the same opportunities and as everyone else, and no one is discriminated against. So based on what I have read, in 1992, Carter and Carter, they were able to compile 85 of the best quality quotes that could motivate the learners. So every time we are to start the class, we could share quotes or a Bible verse to our learners for them to reflect their how how inspired they are to attend our class. Okay, so for number four, vocabulary, we have fair. And when we say fair, of course, it's a noun, acting in accordance with the rules or standards. So, as teachers, we are expected to promote gender equality in our subject by providing well developed lesson plans, maintaining an organized classroom, and setting clear expectations for all students. It's what we always do before the class starts or before even the quarter starts. We give them what we expected from them or what we expect from them. And to be fair to our learners, how do we implement gender balanced education in the classroom? We have to separate lines sometimes. Normally, we do it. Separate lines for boys and girls during the face to face, separate sports activities, and mix seating in the classrooms are all the things that we should avoid. We do not do that nowadays. We make sure that any teaching materials that we utilize show both men and women in equal numbers or boys and girls in equal numbers. Normally, girls are, we have uh, they are more we have um, in terms of population, girls, we have um, bigger or larger population of girls in the classroom, but we see to it that we are utilizing both boys and girls in a specific groupings, and they have to work on projects together, mixed boys and girls, uh, and investigate gender notions and roles in other cultures. We also have to consider that to understand what's going on and to be gender or to be God sensitive in the classroom. Next is not gender. So when we say gender, it's state of being male or female. And the role of teachers, our role is to educate them about gender equality. We are expected not to limit their activities because they are girls and because they are boys. So we have to treat them fairly. We have to make calculations and use numbers with both girls and boys, and to teach them how to respect differences, because we cannot teach them how to respect differences if we are too observing gender stereotyping. Because you are boy, you stay here, and because you are girl, you stay here. We shouldn't be doing that. Okay, so number 6 is impact. Okay, so impact is here in God, it's a verb. It's a strong and often bad effect on something or someone. So gender stereotypes have both positive and negative effect, merely negative effects. Okay, so gender stereotypes shape self perception, attitudes toward relationships, and participation in workplace. Maybe, or most of the time, they can have an impact on a young person's classroom experiences and, of course, academic performance, and their subject choice, and unknowingly on their well-being in a school setting. So we have to somewhat sometimes avoid stereotyping. And for number 7, we have uh, neutral. So it's one of the most important things in gender and development vocabularies. I mean, all of these are important, but we have to be in the classroom setup. We have to be always neutral. It's an adjective meaning not expressing strong opinions or feelings. And we teachers are expected to make the classroom more gender inclusive. So when we say neutral, we encourage both boys and girls to be class leaders, possibly one of each sex, or to address and call on girls and boys equally, and to form mixed groups for group activities, and of course, also in games. And we have to attempt sometimes switch roles in order to break down gender barriers and stereotypes of gender roles. We will not always be asking girls to be leaders and boys to be leaders. Maybe we could have two leaders in a group, a male and a female, and that would be a very interesting um, mixed or mixed groups for among our learners. So for number 8, uh, participate. So participate here is a verb to be involved with others in doing something. So always remember, we teachers make learning more relevant for children, for our learners. By connecting new learning to prior experiences, we always consider their experiences, okay? And we relate concepts to our learners' lives and providing hands on learning opportunities. So I think we should take time to explain the instructional processes, and we have to entertain the questions of our learners and consider their suggestions, their ideas, and let them support their claims, their opinion. So we'll hear their opinion, we'll consider their suggestions before we give them the before we allow them do the tasks intended for their group. And in the video, it was explained that some of my learners explained rather that project-based learning is one of the good examples for um, our learners to learn. We have to incorporate real-world linkages into units and lessons to demonstrate connections between content skills and the life of our students. So we should always consider that. How are we going to encourage our learners to participate without us being biased because you're a boy and because you're a girl? And for number nine, we have perception. Perception here is a noun, the way you think about or understand someone or something. So we teachers are expected to think of a unique approach to encourage the learners to participate in different activities. So perception in here, different teaching tactics must be used by us, by teachers, to accommodate each student's talent and learning needs. So teachers must be sensitive and conscious of the different aspects that may affect the academic performance of our students, especially their perception, especially their gender. Okay, so moving on, we have number 10, it's promote. It means make people aware of something, it's a verb. So teachers are expected to promote God in the classroom by just being fair. Are we fair enough? Well, when we say we are to promote, we are expected to promote as educators. You know, gender plays a very or a significant role in the daily issues in teaching and learning. So it's the same to teach co-ed classes as is, okay, to teach solely girls or boys classes. So there's a lot going on inside these young heads that we don't fully comprehend. We should accept that. New studies nowadays are being conducted to help us as learner more learn more about our students' needs, and that we can reach out to our learners appropriately and demonstrate how we could um, cater education that boys and girls learn in different ways simply due to gender. We shouldn't be we should be always considering those things. 710. So God focuses on gender mainstreaming, which is a strategy for including women and men's concern and experiences in the design, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of policies. Also, programs and projects in all social, political, civil, and economic spheres, ensuring that women and men will benefit equally. So that is RA or Republic Act 9710 is the Magna Carta for women, and it defines that God or Gender and Development Program as the development perspective and process that is participatory and empowering. It's equitable and free from violence. So in RA 9710, um, it seeks to achieve gender equality as fundamental value that should be reflected in the development choices and contents that girls are active agents of development, not just passive recipients of development. So, moving on, the Department of Education issued a gender responsive basic education policy, that is Deped Order number 32 series of 2017 in the Philippines, that the Department of Education commits to integrate the principle of gender equality, gender equity, gender sensitivity, non discrimination, and human rights in the provision of governance of basic education. So, based on 1987 Philippines Constitution, the Department of Education commits to integrate the principles of gender of equality and equity, of course, sensitivity and non-discrimination, and human rights in the provision of governance of basic education. That is to ensure quality basic education for all. So, this gender responsive basic education policy is the commitment to integrate gender equality, and non-discrimination and human rights and the provision of basic education. So this God code is the local legislation of consolidates local ordinances related to women and gender equality, in which um, the local government or the local officials will help identifying the policies, the plans, and the programs that we may cater to address gender issues. So this God code would integrate or align the gender related national laws and international conventions. And how are we going to address or eliminate? Moving on, let's try to understand um, the strategies that we could use to eliminate gender equity bias. So, number one is we establish rules that request students produce ideas for ways to maintain an equal and courteous environment in the classroom. Wait, I'm sorry. Let's go back. Okay, so when we say establish rules, well, it's really crucial or it's really critical for us teachers to establish a set of principles that would promote quality from the start or from the beginning. We make class rules with students using effective strategy to accomplish all those things. And we should know that it's really very important for us teachers to establish a set of principles that promote quality from the very beginning. We make class rules with students also considering their ideas and opinion that would help us um, effectively accomplish the objectives that we will come up or will be coming up with the lessons or with the classroom. So this would allow us to point the rules um, as something that everyone in the class has agreed on. So we will not just be giving the rules. We will be involving our learners. They could give suggestions, they could comment, and they could also share what they believe. We will consider their ideas in establishing rules in the classroom, both girls and boys. So it's actually crucial to incorporate guidelines about treating kids, treating the students with respect, respecting the teacher, and their participation in the classroom. However, if you find that certain students, regardless of their gender, are not participating in the classroom, try to change. Try to change the style. Or maybe if it's done face to face, of course, we're going to change the class seating, the arrangement. For example, where we try having students who usually, I'm sorry, we have, we are trying to have uh, to understand those students who usually sit at the back, we could place them in front. And those students sitting at the middle, we could place them at the back. And we're going to do that quarterly, the routine. And if it's not effective, we could find other means to solve the problem. So teachers tend to interact the most with students sitting to them. It's it's given. Okay. For this reason, it is really important for us to change the sitting position, maybe quarterly. So, if possible, to give all students the chance to sit near us or near the teacher. Okay. So, for number two, we have address students equally. So, we have to call on and converse with both male and female students in a fair manner. And how are we going to do it? So we have to allow at least 4 to 5 seconds when calling on students who appear to be taking longer to respond to a question. So let's wait because if they raise their hand and if They cannot recite abruptly. Let's wait. At least give them 4 to 5 seconds to think. And then we are giving students extra time to answer. That would also uh, increase the number of learners who will participate with us, because if we will be very strict, oh, this student cannot answer, he raised his hand but he can't answer, she raised his hand but she can't answer, then we will let them sit. No, let's give them time to think. If they raise their hand and if yet they are not still they are not talking, let's give them few seconds to think. So in that case we could help increase the number of students who will participate in the class discussion. That is according to research. Let's give them ample time, not actually time, but few seconds will do for them to think, um, to to justify their ideas. So answering teachers' question is one of the most important ways to students to for students rather to participate in the class. So teachers must call on and converse with both male and female, and in a fair manner. So male students are more frequently called upon to speak in a class because we tend to think that they are more, loquacious or noisy. So we tend to call the boys more than that of the girls. And that is also according to research. When the teacher selects stories for the classroom that don't play up gender stereotypes and comments positively on stories, that is you are gender equal. Okay, when you prepare or when you provided stories that don't play up gender stereotyping, you are equal. You are God equal teacher. Okay, and so for number three, use gender neutral language. Okay, so we actually use neutral pronouns like everyone instead of guys. Okay, so he or she will do also. We do not say good morning, guys. So that is being sexist or that is being gender biased. Instead, we say good morning, everyone. So when we are referring to a group, we sometimes use male pronouns and we are not aware about that. We actually unknowingly we are using male pronouns. And however, this may make female students feel excluded. So, when possible, we should use gender neutral pronouns. For example, instead of saying guys, say hi everyone when we are referring to our class or group. And so, for number four, we take note of body language. Okay, so use courteous listening body language while male or female students are speaking. Do not walk away from the listener or do not interrupt learners. So it's when we say do not walk away, it's referring to face discussion or face to face classes. But during online classes, we shouldn't be, interrupting them while they are speaking, because teachers may be unaware that their body language or our body language will female pupils rather, or with female learners, differs from the body language we have with our male learners. So also we have to use courteous and listening body language while male and female students are speaking. We have to listen and do not interrupt them. In addition, the teachers can move around the classroom if face to face. We do that. While we are speaking, we go at the back. And this is significant because learners who are seated at the back or seated further away from us are less likely to participate. So we have to move. We have to go there while we are speaking. And so next is five, promote discipline. Sometimes we need to reflect how we promote discipline. So it's says there that it's important that both male and female students face the same consequences rather for the same actions. So this technique will assist us in creating a more equitable learning environment for our learners. So male students have been known for to I'm sorry to sometimes insult female students. Not all the times. There are sometimes to be known to be more bully than female students, but not not always. Okay, and students have been known to disrespect vice versa. If the boys are known to sometimes insult or bullies female students, female students likewise have known to be disrespecting male students sometimes because males are sometimes bully, but it's not always. Okay, students may be discouraged from engaging in the class in the future if the insults appear to be gender based. So if we notice that, we have to, as educators, we have to intervene quickly and reprimand the learners who are making insults. And this will demonstrate that learners of either gender will be supported. So we have to very cautious about that in the classroom situation. Okay, so moving on, let's take a glance on how we can encourage gender equality in the classroom. First is be reflective and be objective. So when we say, oops, I'm sorry, when we say be reflective and be objective, of course, um, first we have to pay attention to the above trends, like how are we going to respond to learners in a more gender neutral manner for us, not to be biased. We may believe we already have we may believe or we may think that we already have done a good job, but objectively evaluating our own teaching can be tough. So to have a better understanding of our own teaching methods and interactions with our students, we might want to film our video of our classroom. So, like we normally do, we record. And then after that, let's watch what we have recorded and let's analyze what went wrong in our discussion. What have we have we presented fair? Have we treated our students fairly without being gender biased in the class discussion? So it's one of the ways how are we going to reflect. During pandemic, we could record the class discussion. And number two, solicit feedback from colleagues. So it's really very hard, but we have to think of ways how we could evaluate ourselves in treating our learners. Are we gender biased or not? So we could ask our colleagues to give comments. We could provide a comment box to collect similar input from our students. Maybe if we want, if we are that fair enough with our hearts and our minds, we could ask our students to evaluate us, how we treat them. Are we treating them fairly? It's all right if you don't like, but it's just a suggestion that we could also ask our learners, aside from our colleagues, to evaluate what went wrong with us. How do we treat them? So some of the questions that we could ask them is, do you notice any different or any differences on how I treat boys and girls? We could ask them. Or we could also ask them, what do I need to know about you in terms of gender so I could teach you well? We could ask our learners' opinion. And also, we could ask them, have I made you feel good or bad in regard to your gender or at any point? We could ask them that. So it would be easier for us to understand how are we going to size a situation during pandemic, or not just during pandemic but even face, if we will be conducting face to face classes, we could also do that, because it's really very important for us to know if I made our students feel good or bad in regards to their, or in regard to their gender, or at any point. It's also very important for us if they notice that we are treating them unfairly between girls and boys. We have to ask them. It would also help us reflect. Okay, so number three is use gender neutral language. That's, I have already explained that a while ago, but it's also part on how are we going to encourage gender equality in the classroom. So we can also change terminology in our subject to assist the learners see things a different perspective from than gender stereotyping. Okay, so boys, this will be your activity because you are boys. Girls, this will be your activity because you are girls. We should not do that. Okay? We can, for example, include a female construction worker or soldier, a male secretary or nurse, and other professions traditionally associated with specific gender in giving assignments. So, in that way, we could test our students' preconceptions about gender and development. So, also, one of the things that we should avoid is using gendered terminologies like, yeah, boys when we're referring to the group as a whole. This may make female students feel they are not included. So, use pronouns that are gender neutral, and we know that because we are teachers. Everyone, everybody, instead of saying boys, guys. Okay, so we must be very specific and be very particular about it. Similarly, we should also avoid using terminology like boys don't whip or boys don't cry. We should not do that. We should not say that, or we should not use that term. Or girls don't fight. We should not also say that, as this sets a precedent that many, or this may limit the learner's knowledge of gender roles. So we have to make them think that when it comes to gender, everyone is equal. Okay, so we have, for number four, explain the situation or the context. Of course, we always do that. We are educators. We always explain before we let them do the task. But, you know, the hardest thing about communicating effectively is know how to set the context. If you hear students saying like, hey, you play like female, and you heard them, please be a man. Please man up. Please shape up like a man. Shape up like a boy. We should discourage that, because it's crucial to point out to the societal consequences of those words rather than simply criticizing them. So those are the things we should avoid, and we could make use good praises to encourage them to participate, not by using those words. So, gender equity struggle and history are similar to race and religion. So, understanding how individuals, such as language, is more important than having clear rules to merely protect our learners from bias, depending on the grade level of your students and depending on the gender. So we have to be very sensitive about it. And then for number five, we have uh, group students intentionally. So use a dynamic seating grouping chart to break up boys only or girls only cliques and encourage both groups of interactions. So when it comes to choosing companions and seating arrangements, it's usually for guys and girls to separate. But teachers may facilitate this by instructing girls and boys to form distinct lines in the corridor, or maybe raising a hand during online discussion, or even scheduling separate sports activities for each group. So it's one of the most challenging role of teachers. How are we going to make uh, the groupings fairly? So that is one of the most interesting things too. So for number six, make use of project-based learning. So within group projects, include a mix of boys and girls on purpose. We always do that. Unknowingly, we're doing that. So unknowingly, we are promoting gender sensitive classroom. Okay, so this work can be purely academic with indirect and implicit lesson on gender equity. We are already practicing it, we are just unaware. Working together, boys and girls can better understand the context of individual behaviors rather than stereotyping girls and boys if well supported. So, projects can also be developed to investigate concepts related to gender and cultural equity. So, we have to let them work on specific spaces or group to foster the development of healthy human interdependence. We will not be separating them from each other. Okay, so moving on, um, those were the things that we should consider if we are to encourage gender equality in the classroom. And now, well, let's determine the factors that cause gender inequality in the classroom. Number one is teachers pay attention to boys. It's as what I have said a while ago. We pay more attention to boys because boys are known to be more bullies than girls. That is according to research. But this is due in part of to the fact that boys are more likely than girls to call out to answers, even if they haven't been called on by the teachers. Boys will be raising their hands and calling the attention of the teachers. Ma'am, I would like to answer. So this trend may also exist because boys are frequently perceived as being more mischievous, causing teachers to monitor and engage with them more actively in class, providing a perceived opening to speak without permission. Those are the boys. Okay, so we may say they are overconfident, but yeah, those are the boys. So this can discourage female students from speaking up, even when they believe they have something valuable to share with us, or to share or contribute in the discussion over time. So in the 14th National Statistics Conference on October 2019, reframing gender disparities in basic education in the Philippines, that was a conference in Manila. So it aimed to make good curricula accessible to all by taking into account the voices of boys and girls through the conduct of research in schools about learner disposition. So, if reports aggregated or aggregated learners according to what they have learned and what they said, they need to learn the uh, underachievement or under development or underachievement of learners who would be uh, which is an issue that can be addressed. So what are the concerns why girls participate less than that of the boys? So it's one of the learning solutions that AAUW, or American Association of University Women, uh, came up with during the conference. So it's they were able to identify what are the things that discourage female students from speaking up, even they when they believe they have something valuable to share in the classroom. So number two is interaction with boys are more public. So we are referring to teachers. Okay. So teachers frequently speak to boys from a greater distance than they do to girls because of the reason that girls are normally timid than boys. So because the entire classroom can frequently hear a teacher's conversations with boys, this also may contribute to at least the appearance of teachers communicating with boys more frequently and casually. And this also encourages girls to keep their comments and questions to themselves, denying them to the opportunities in participating because of uh, primarily male focused discussion. So, unknowingly, we teachers are focusing on the performance or behavior of the boys in the classrooms because they are known to be more mischievous than the girls or more naughty than the girls. So, we have to take into consideration how are we going to uh, address those issues inside the classroom. So from then on, if we call a student a boy, then after that, we may also ask a volunteer from the girls to be fair. So number three is praise and criticism differ between boys and girls. And we all know that despite the fact that uh, the teachers strive to treat all students equally, there are often significant discrepancies in the types of learning for which boys and girls are commended or penalized. Boys are frequently applauded more than the girls for sharing proper knowledge, and boys' incorrect replies are more likely to be overlooked. Sometimes it normally happens. So, girls, on the other hand, um, are more likely to be chastised for expressing inaccurate information. That is according to research. And teachers are less likely to applaud them for good replies. This, like the absence of exposure in teachers' talks with girls, reduces the visibility of knowledge offered by girls. So, girls may believe that males' knowledge is more valuable than girls, leading the girls to believe that they are less capable than boys. So that is according to research. And another distinction is that girls are more frequently complimented for good behavior in the classroom. That is normal. Whereas boys are more frequently chastised. And while it may appear that this distinction would favor female students, this trend instead emphasizes compliance as being more important to their academic performance than merely acquiring an and exhibiting knowledge. So, moving on, I would like to share with you my references um, for this topic. And I would like to thank you for listening. Sharing with you, if we are to select the most intelligent, imaginative, energetic, and emotionally stable third of mankind, all races would be present. That was from Franz Boas. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arlene Pareja. That was actually a very substantial discussion. I am sure the audience have gained considerable insight in today's webinar about gender and development. That was actually a jam pack of interesting information. The knowledge you have shared today will be useful to our audience because you have shared lots of interesting ideas that is truly relevant in the field of education, specifically with regards to the use of integration of gender and development in teaching and the benefits that we get in understanding the significance of integrating God in in teaching to provide conducive, respectful, encouraging learning atmosphere in the classroom. No doubt our viewers have benefited from today's webinar. Again, thank you so much, Mom, for sparing your valuable time with us and sharing your knowledge. Thank you, Mom. And to
Thank
the
you.
audience, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. To the audience, I'm sorry to inform everyone that we do not have our quiz competition for today. So we will proceed right away in our Q&A part after the short video. Again, as I have said, we do not have our quiz competition for today, so we will proceed to our Q&A part. But before that, once again, let me remind you, don't forget to like, share, write a comment, and tag your friends in the comment box. Your attachment encourages us to do better and provide our best service. Thank you for your support. We will proceed to our Q&A part after the short video. Shall we have Okay, once again, let's welcome back Dr. Arlene Pareja for our Q&A. You may start sending your questions now.
By the
Okay,
way, Mom,
yes, ma'am.
I would like to apologize for the audio. I thought
Yes,
it was playing well. I think because of the poor internet connection, we're having problem
yeah, that's
here.
fine, ma'am.
I'm sorry for that. It's good thing that it has a few texts.
Yeah. Okay, while waiting for their questions, I have my own question here. Ma'am, let me give you my question. What is the difference between sex and gender, or is there any difference with the two, or are they the same?
What do you mean, sex?
Sex,
Sex.
between sex and gender.
I think it's what we normally, what do you call that? When we fill out a form, we instead of writing sex, we tend to write female and male, right, mom?
Yes.
So when we say gender,
Mom, I can't hear you. Hello, mom.
oh, ma'am, hello po.
Yes.
Okay, so gender and sex you were referring to, mom.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's like when we are filling out information, we tend to see sex, right? Like we fill out F for female and we fill out M for male.
Yes.
So gender, I think there is no discrepancy between the two. Can you suggest some? I don't usually, I may say, it's just the same.
The two of them.
Yeah, can you also share with us what you
Actually,
understood about?
I was thinking about, because we usually hear that about transgender like that. So
Ah, I
when
see.
um so there are lots of genders that we are hearing nowadays other than being transgender, and people are declaring that this is my gender, or but basically we have male and female, but then I think there is an evolution with the gender when we talk about gender.
Ah, okay. So I think, ma'am, you were referring to a variation in biological
Yes.
attributes. Okay,
Yeah.
it's all right. All right. It's part of the but we do not do that in the classroom. I guess we just group them by we be in gender stereotypes, boys and girls like that. But we do not address them, I guess, in the classroom. We do not do
Yeah.
some groupings when it
So we
comes to
should not
when we
tolerate. I
say
don't. Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure what, whether is it tolerate, or should we which is whether it's tolerate or encourage the words to be used. Those who are wearing, like for example, a boy wearing a girl uniform like that in school. How are we going to address those? Because
Actually,
they sometimes would say that, no, I don't, I want this one. I prefer this dress or this
uh,
uniform.
I guess, ma'am, we are still to encourage them to. Students are still aware that what their pronoun is. And when it comes to, of course, as what you have asked a while ago, when sex refers to different biological and psychological characteristics, I may say, males and females. So um, the norms and the rules when we refer to God or to when we refer to gender, but when we are to categorize the sex of male and female, yun, the variation in biological attributes, we do not laugh about it, but it's their behavior on how they express themselves. If they are male, but they are acting like girls or women, still they know what is their pronouns. Still they know that they are still he, or still they know that they are still she.
Yeah, because I was reminded of, remember in the Facebook, someone,
Mm.
uh, a male entered the female comfort room in one of the SM store, and declaring that, no, this is my gender. I should enter. I should be
Ah, yes.
allowed to enter. Yeah, yeah, something like that. So
Mm.
and from Anna Marie Joy, Kansas, according to her, sex refers to male and female, and gender refers to femininity and masculinity. We have
Ah,
here our first question from Rugaya Shafrinalita. I hope I pronounced it right. How can we change behavior of people that they do not do bad about gender, and they are parents of our students also.
Come again, ma'am. What? How can
How can
we?
we change behavior of people that they do bad about gender? Probably they have bad perception about gender, and this, I think, it refers to the parents themselves of the students.
Mm, so that is, I guess, ma'am. Actually, we are providing seminars and trainings that about gender and development, where that is enjoined by parents, by stakeholders, and students. So I guess they should be, by that time, should be aware of that issue. That we should also be that we should be respecting. So this uh, the differences between sex and the masculinity and femininity, or whether neuter and or what, we should be respecting them.
Yes,
So
and
I
I
guess
think
I guess encouraging them to attend the seminar being facilitated in school, where we normally conduct seminars and trainings about health, about mental health, or about gender and development, about, yeah, we encourage the participation of stakeholders, parents and learners as well. So in that case, I guess they should invite the parents to attend the
yes.
seminars that the schools are offering.
If we notice such, I think we should provide them with seminars in school. The parents should
Yes,
be provided with such with seminars about God.
yes, ma'am.
Next, our next question is from Rachel. Rachel, regarding pronouns, should an English teacher use the pronoun preference of the students or use the standard?
uh the pronouns, the standard, what do you mean?
Yes. For
The
example, a
stand
boy, there are
okay.
some cases that a boy would like to be called she inside the classroom. I'm not quite sure if you have experienced that, but I have heard some that, ma'am, call me she instead of he. Some would request their teachers. So is it tolerable, or shall we allow it?
We should let them, I mean, in that case, ma'am, we should um still be calling them according to their pronoun, even they are not, even they are opposite to the sex that they have, even they would want to be called she, even they are he, or he is he, then we would still be addressing them the pronoun intended for them. I could suggest that, because in that case we are teaching them the right pronoun they really deserve. It's
Yes,
not
it's not about calling them the pronoun, but teaching them the concept of the pronoun, that
yes.
this pronoun really belongs to you. Such pronoun
Mhm.
belongs to such. Okay, but
Yes,
I
ma'am.
I was thinking, how about the transgender? How can we address them, or what pronoun should be used to them? Is it the original pronoun that we should
I think,
use?
mom, it's the original.
It should
Even
still
they,
be the original.
mm,
Yeah, I think so, because sometimes we might tend to be confused. Am I being sensitive to the gender of this child if I'm going to call him she or he? Whether should the child be offended if I call him he instead of she, something like that. So as a teacher, we're a little bit confused on that.
we should be addressing them the right pronoun,
The proper pronoun.
the proper pronoun intended for them.
Okay. Mm.
Because yes, mom, we it has, I think, using pronoun is has nothing to do with the gender. When we say using the right pronoun, it's like when you address them in a group, we do not say guys, boys, okay, girls. So we do not call in general a group of students combined with male and female as boys, girls. We have to call them everyone, everybody, please follow me, going to the laboratory or whatever. That's the that's how we observe right pronouns. But when it comes to individual, If he is a boy, then we have to address him. Then we have to use the right pronoun, which is he.
Yes, thank you for that,
Mhm.
ma'am. From Musa Nimal, how can we change the belief in people that they have based on gender difference that they have based on gender difference? Example, the belief on doing housework only for women and fishing for men.
Okay. So actually, changes will begin in us. We are integrating God in the subjects that we are handling. Say, for example, in English, if I am to give a literary piece for my students, I mean, a literary piece for my student to read, say, for example, the farmers, etc., whatever stories that you're going to provide them, or whatever activities that you're going to ask them to do, you have to include both sexes. And we have to think of, like, for example, not all doctors are male, not all nurses are female. So we have to include both sexes in. We have to observe that when we are teaching in the classroom to have equality in gender, because that would have a big impact among our learners. We have to encourage them to participate, not because they are boys, not because they are female.
So we should avoid stereotyping in different concepts.
Yes, ma'am. It's actually, we are already uh, being gender based, or we are observing gender equality in the classroom uh, when we make sure that the materials we utilize involve both men and women, or both girls and boys, equal in number. We are already observing gender based equality or equity in the classroom. Unknowingly, we are already doing it. When we mix boys and girls in groupings, we observe gender equality.
Okay, that's good to hear. Actually, that's very interesting. Okay, I'm not quite sure if we still have questions here. Let me check. Let me check. Let me see. I don't see questions
And
here.
one thing for sure, mom, we should not limit the activities. We have to treat them fairly. Um, we have to make sure that equal number of boys and girls are combined in a group, or at least allow two leaders in a group, a male and female. And when we ask a boy to recite, then afterwards we'll be asking another student to recite, which is a girl.
But as you have said a while ago, we have bigger number of girls inside the classroom.
Mm,
So I think it should be 1:2 ratio. How about
yeah.
doing that?
But actually, mom, when it comes to groupings, so if we have to include boys in a group. If we have 30 girls and we have 10 boys,
We should
then
distribute the boys in every group.
evenly,
Yeah.
equally. So
Yes.
so there will be also boys to lead the group. At least two leaders in a group, a boy and a girl.
Yes, that actually brought me to my question here. Your presentation or your discussion is about classroom setting, but I want to know how can we apply gender equality in the e-classroom nowadays that we are in the pandemic period? How can we apply gender equality or sensitivity in the e-classroom?
Oh, it's just the same thing, ma'am. We group them. They are actually to present performance task online, or maybe if they are to submit videos, boys must be also equal in number within the girls. We do not limit their activities. And yun, equal numbers of learners, boys and girls. So we do not separate boys from the girls, and make sure that the materials that we are to provide them will, the boys and girls will also be equal in number, and especially when it comes to performance tasks.
Okay, thank you so much, Mom, for your marvelous responses to the questions of our audience. That actually completes our Q&A part for today. To all our participants who actively participated in our Q&A part, thank you so much for your questions. And I hope that you have gained substantial knowledge and understanding of today's webinar. To Mom Arlene Parejas, thank you so much for your marvelous presentation.
Thank you
And
po.
also and also for your brilliant responses and comprehensive answers to the queries of our audience. Thank you so much, Mom. And I am sure that all are satisfied with your answers since all questions are very well answered. Thank you again, Mom, and we hope to see you again here in IGP. Dear learners, we notice that at this moment you are experiencing difficulties in accessing our website. Our team is doing its best to fix this problem. Our technical team are working on it. Please bear with us at the moment. Thank you for your patience. And for your certificate, please collect the certificate link and also the certificate code. For the meantime, the problem that we are experiencing about the website, of course, because there are bulk of participants who are accessing the website at the same time. Rest assured that this is just a temporary problem with our hosting provider. Again, please bear with us. We appreciate your patience and your unceasing support to IGP. Thank you so much. Everything will be back to normal. Please bear with us at the moment. Just like what I've said at the beginning of the webinar, in few days the IGP website will be back. That is very, very soon, hopefully before the end of the Christmas season. Once it is back, we can start collecting our e-certificates again. And again, I would like to say and reiterate, thank you so much for your patience and for your understanding. And that concludes our program for today. To my fellow knowledge seekers, I would like to thank all of you for attending today's session. Hopefully, you have gained or learned something new today that will be useful in your life. If you learned something or we have been helpful to you, even in just a little bit, please leave a review on our page. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our Facebook group, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Don't forget to collect your e-certificate and give a check-in with IGP. Please spread the information about IGP to your friends. We hope to see you all again in our next webinars. Thank you so much. Stay happy and stay safe. Again, this has been your host, Marbet from the Philippines, signing off. Bye, everyone.